all new Rocket League players, what is going on? It's Coach JSU here, back with a video brought to you by the Dad Gaming. We're doing a little Rocket League boot camp. It's gonna be a lot of fun. This is geared towards anyone who's just picking up this game. As we know, it's going free to play right now. So we're gonna cover all the basics today, everything you need to know from A to Z to get you up and running with Rocket League. Let's get started. What is Rocket League? Rocket League's a car soccer video game. It was developed all the way back in 2015 by Psyonix, but recently Epic acquired the game back in 2019, and they announced that the game is going to be completely free to play as of September 23rd. Currently, Rocket League is available to be played on PC, PS4, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Getting into Rocket League is pretty straightforward. The core objective in Rocket League is to put the ball in your opponent's net. Whoever has the highest score at the end of the 5-minute period wins the game. It's like soccer, but with cars that are rocket powered. You get the point. There's 3 main game modes: 1v1, 2v2, and standard 3v3. The playlist can be split into casual and competitive. If you're starting out in Rocket League, it's a great time. And don't worry if you feel like you're struggling a little bit to get going, because that's where the majority of the player base is. They're right in that bronze to gold level, where most people are just starting out. There's been traditionally 6 ranks: bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, champion, and grand champion. This season, they've added in a new top rank, Supersonic Legend. Players that are able to achieve this rank are at the semi-professional level. The arena in Rocket League can be laid out in a few core areas. Starting off with the kickoff. This is where you see players meet and connect with the ball at the start of the game. Then there's the goal. Your primary objective. You need to score and defend against people getting the ball in this area. There's the boost pads, which you'll see located, scattered across the map. Then there's the wall, and lastly, the ceiling. All areas that can be used in the game. Boost! Boost is everything in Rocket League. You can find your boost in the bottom right-hand side. You can hold up to 100 boosts in your boost meter. Boost is used pretty much to drive around faster. It can help you fly around, do aerials, do some cool mechanics, that kind of thing. There's 2 different types of primary boost pads. There's large boost pads and there's small boost pads. The large ones will give you 100, the small ones will give you 12. The large ones respawn every 10 seconds, the small ones respawn every 4 seconds. Now, if you're just starting out, it's very important that you keep note of how much boost you have while you're playing the game. If you're stuck on no boost, it's going to make the game extremely hard to play, so keep note of this. You'll probably notice a few things when you're getting the game loaded. There are a lot of cars. There's 10 standard cars to choose from, but the game holds over 75 cars. Cars vary in length, height, and width. We call this the car's hitbox. There are a total of 6 hitboxes: the breakout hitbox, the dominance hitbox, the hybrid hitbox, the merc hitbox, the octane hitbox, and lastly, the plank hitbox. The most popular cars in Rocket League are the octane, dominance, and the fennec. Starting out in Rocket League, we highly recommend that you choose either a PS4 controller or an Xbox controller to play on. The default controls are quite simple. You have ball cam, which is going to be on the triangle, power slide, which is going to be on your square, boost, which is going to be on your circle button, and X, which is going to be a jump. Your back right trigger is going to allow you to drive forward. Your back left trigger is going to allow you to drive backwards. Your left stick allows you to move around, and your right stick allows you to look around if you need to. We're going to start off the basics. Go ahead and go into Freeplay. Once you get there, we're going to talk about movements. Movements in Rocket League is quite simple. To move forward, put your index finger on your back right trigger. That's going to start to propel you forward. To move backwards, go ahead and put your left index finger on your left trigger button. That's going to move you backwards. And to actually turn while you're moving, you can go ahead and use the left analog stick to do that. Push left, you move left, push right, you move right. If you need to look around in Rocket League, you can use the right analog stick to do so as well. There are a few different types of jumps you can do in Rocket League. There's a single jump, There's also a double jump. You can also perform a soft jump by just quickly touching your X button. If you hold the X button down, you will then perform a higher jump. Jumps are mostly used to get up for aerials in Rocket League. Using flips in Rocket League are essential. To perform one double jump forward while holding the forward button, you can do side flips, you can do back flips, you can do a bunch of different styles of flips here. There's 4 different types really. But the way that you would use a flip is to gain momentum, to gain speed. You can also use a flip as you're coming into the ball to get more power on the ball. So it's good for getting shots or trying to get clears on the ball when necessary. Drifting in Rocket League. To perform a drift, simply hold your square button and press left or right, and your back of your car will whip out behind you. This is mostly used to get back towards your net and turn and face. And you can also use this if you needed to perhaps turn around and get on a certain side of the ball really quickly. You will notice in the bottom left hand corner there is something called ball cam. Ball cam can be turned on or off by pressing Y. Why would you need to do this? Well, if you're starting off, I notice a lot of players trying to play without ball cam. They try to do this, and it's just really hard to keep track of where the ball is. If you are starting out, I highly recommend getting used to playing with ball cam on. It might feel awkward at first, but in the long run, this is how everyone plays the game. In scenarios where you might use ball cam off is when you're trying to line up and find a boost. Once you get the boost, you can bring ball cam back on and figure out where the ball is. Supersonic state in Rocket League is very important. You'll notice that as you start to move fast, there's a purple line that ends up trailing behind your car. That means that you are in supersonic state. This is essential for preserving boost as you're moving around the map. You want to flip to get into supersonic space and keep flipping to maintain it. You'll notice a lot of players use Freeplay to warm up, and it's extremely smart to do so. It's a great way to get all your bad touches out before you head into a game that's ranked or casual. Go ahead and head in there, and the thing that I like to do the most is just hit the ball at the corners and try to reset the shot and just practice, getting good solid touches on the ball. You try to practice your shots. You can go around the map and do pretty much whatever you want, but this is where you're gonna get kind of the feel of how you're playing, and it's how the majority of players use this to warm up. Take about 5 to 10 minutes at the start of each session to warm up in Freeplay. All right, for training your shooting, we're gonna go ahead into play, training, custom. You can go ahead and hit enter a code. The code will be provided on the bottom right hand corner. We're going to be using whey protein's novice striker training. Go ahead and favorite this so that it's easy to access in the future. Let's jump on in. To start off this training, you're going to want to just come up, approach the ball, and work on catching it and chipping it in. First shot is quite simple. Second shot is a little bit more difficult because the ball is rolling across and you have to try to aim it up and put it towards the net. You notice there that I did a flip into the ball to create some extra power on it. I would practice doing this as well. If you do end up screwing up on a shot, you can always reset the shot and try again. This should help you to build some accuracy and practice doing shots outside of the game so that you can perform in the game when it matters the most. Our next training is going to be for defending. Go ahead and go into training, custom training. We're going to enter a code here. This is another training pack by Whey Protein called Novice Clears. Clears are kind of a form of saying you want to get the ball out of your side of the field and downfield to theirs. So this first one's a great job. You can just practice. You don't have to put this on net. You just got to practice getting some power and getting this out of your side of the field. And it's going to be hard when you're first starting off getting power on this and just getting it out. That's the first shot. Our next shot here is a pretty typical scenario where the ball's rolling towards your net. You want to drive up here and try to defend it by clearing it out. And just try to work on getting your power here and getting back in a position where you can get behind the ball and try to get that out to the midfield. We're going to use Whey Protein's novice aerials. And aerials has to be the hardest thing when you're starting a Rocket League. You're getting up in the air and just kind of figuring out how to do it. To perform an aerial, what you're going to do is press jump, and then you're going to hold backwards and use boost. Boost is going to propel you into the air. So when you're starting out, you just want to try to make contact on the ball. You don't need to do anything fancy. The main thing that you need to do here is just try to get up and make touches of the ball. You don't even have to focus on scoring these. It's your first time flying, so it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. This is going to create like a little bit of an in-game scenario where, the ball is loose, it's in the air, you need to defend. You need to beat the defender to the ball, try to get it past them. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is basic rotations. I'm going to go ahead and bring up a recent replay. The basic idea, the basic concept for rotations is this. When you're rotating back, if the ball is moving down the right hand side of your wall here, like so, the momentum is going like this around the corner, you as a blue player, you always want to make sure that if this is your net and you're trying to defend your net here, you want to be meeting the ball. So you want to be coming in a counter kind of direction of the ball here. A lot of new players, what they do is they follow the ball the same direction back to their net. And this makes it extremely dangerous because what ends up happening is the ball crosses over in front of your net, and usually there's an opponent waiting there to score the ball. So what you want to do when you're doing your defensive rotations is get in the mindset of counteracting, coming against the ball when you're rotating back, come to your goal and then rotate out. Don't follow the ball, go back to your net and then rotate out. Try to get into that mindset when you're playing the game. All right, now we're going to dive into some settings that help you get going in Rocket League. I've gone ahead and completely reset my camera settings just so you can see how kind of wonky these are. These settings are absolutely terrible. They're not going to help you out. I'm going to give you some quick settings that you can change. Make sure you never use camera shake. It just makes the game horrible to play with. Go ahead and bump your FOV up to 110. This is going to allow you to see better. Distance is okay at 270, is a good range. You can use 100 or 110 height starting out. The angle, you're probably going to want to set it to -3 if you're at 110 height. If you're rocking 100 height, put it to -4. Stiffness for new players, 0.5 is fine. I typically use 0.4 myself. Swivel speed, what this does is when you're using your right stick, it's just how fast it kind of swings around. It's personal preference. It doesn't really matter too much. And go ahead and keep your transition speed when you're starting out just to 0 there. All right, I've gone ahead and reset my control settings here. I just want to show you what it looks like to start. For new players, I do recommend for your steering and aerial using a sensitivity of about 1.2. I wouldn't go over this and I wouldn't go under this when you're just starting out. For your controller dead zone, you're probably going to want to get used to bringing this down a little bit. If you're on a PS4 controller, I would start when you're starting out at 0.10. If you're on an Xbox controller, I would probably use 0.15. The dodge dead zone, this is personal preference. I think starting out 0.8 might be a little bit too high. You could probably drop this back down to maybe anywhere between 0.5 to 0.6. The default used to be 0.5 and recently they bumped up to 0.8. If you do find yourself backflipping a lot, then just go ahead and increase this a little bit. Everything else that you see here, it can be left alone. You don't need to mess with it. All right, heading into your video settings here. This is the default video settings. I have no idea why they set this as default video settings. If you're just starting out, do yourself a favor. Go ahead, crank the max FPS as high as you can, up to 250. For all of these effects here, they're going to make the game look really good, but ultimately you're going to lose out on a lot of performance and it's going to add some input delay. So go ahead and uncheck all these options. And you can leave high quality shaders on, that's personal preference. Transparent goalposts, you're definitely going to want to leave that on. And then this is all dependent in terms of your GPU. If you have a strong computer, then go ahead and leave these at high quality. If you have a low power computer, I would put these to performance, and you're gonna get the most performance out of your computer and the least amount of input delay. So we get a lot of new players asking, how do I actually improve? I would dedicate some time to training, but apart from that, you're gonna want to go in and play against bots. That's the best thing that you can do when you're first starting out. And the way that you do that is you go ahead and you go into custom games here, and you can do seasons or exhibitions. I usually ended up doing private matches. You can create your own private match. You can set the team size to 3v3. There's different bot difficulties here, so they're starting with rookie, pro, all-star. Go ahead and use beginner if you're just starting out, and if that feels too easy, crank it up to rookie and go through until you can actually play through the bots and have no issues here. Lastly, I would like to say that you should create a training schedule. Make sure you dedicate about 25 to 30% of your time to free play, just warming up, doing the shot packs that we talked about, and then you can use the other 75% of your time, to have fun, play against bots, play against some online matches, but do make sure that you do set a training schedule. And when you're first getting on, you dedicate some of the time to advancing your mechanics. It's going to really help you to improve and get going off the ground faster. Guys, possibly the most important thing that we haven't talked about yet is to join up on a community. The Dad Gaming Rocket League offers an amazing community. There's a ton of support from like-minded individuals who are all looking to get better. Completely non-toxic. This is one of the best communities that I've seen in the Rocket League scene. And I got a little quote up here from Papa Rizzo, whose son plays professionally right now, and he says, if any dad's interested in playing with these guys, guaranteed fun to be had. Hit them up at any rank. That holds true. Our community has various ranks, all the way from low to grand champ, and we have tournaments that run every week. It's just a lot of fun. So definitely recommend checking out the links there on the bottom and go ahead and join up with us. You do not have to be a dad to join up on the dad community. We're welcome of everyone. Anyways, guys, I hope this video was helpful for all the brand new players out there. If you want to, go ahead and share it with any players or any friends that are just starting out, and we'll see you guys in the community and on the playing grounds. Until next time, Coach JSU.